I don't want to waste your time, so there won't be an intro. So what I'm about to show you is commonly known as impact tricking, and the idea behind it is to use the explosion of an impact nade in order to destroy Thermite or Hibana's charges whenever they try to open a hatch. I probably don't need to tell you how important hatches are in this game, but still, in the right circumstances, using this trick can single-handedly win you rounds. The only things you need for this to work is destructible floor right next to a hatch, and a way to have the impact nade explode close enough to it. On Chalet, this can be simply done by throwing them at the walls next to the hatches. If there are no walls available, you can also use some of the props next to the hatches. Here in Bank, for example, I use a metal cupboard and the bottom of a shelf in order to detonate the impact. The most tricky thing about this trick is probably learning the trajectory of an impact, especially how it behaves in close range, because that's a bit weird. Because if you want to throw straight up, for example, you have to aim quite a bit below your target in order to hit it. Oh, and as you can see, the hatches are still in the old design because I recorded the clips quite a while ago. But of course I already tested with the new hatches and it works just the same, if not better. As for how to set this trick up, so who's making the hole and who's throwing the nade, I use smoke in this video so I can show it solo, but if you're playing with a team you can just pick a real impact operator like Legion or Vigil and have your mirror or smoke open the holes beforehand. If you're playing solo and you're convinced that denying a hatch will really help you win, then I guess you can also play smoke, shotgun and impacts, but that loadout is kinda meh with the new SMG, so I don't know. The two spots I'm about to show now are not really that useful when you're playing bomb, but I know that a lot of people are also playing secure area, and that's where denying the visa hatches is really strong. Another thing that I should mention is that there is of course always a risk to destroying the floor as a defender, because that's kinda what the attackers want to do. But then again, basically no one I know knows about this trick, so it will be really effective for the first time you use it, and that might probably justify the risk of opening the floor. Also, a lot of the holes that I make can be a lot smaller. I just make them a bit bigger to give you a sense of where you are and what you're throwing at. For this spot here on Kafe, I'm not too sure about it. The other tricks all had real game applications, but I can't deny that this one here is a bit of a stretch. I normally try to only include tips that are actually usable in diamond rank games, so I was kinda hesitant of including that one. But when defending trains, this is just such an essential hatch that even these two ways to use the impact trick might be successful. As you can see, the problem is that to reliably destroy all pallets, you have to either throw two impacts or have information on the position of them. But I guess the silver lining is that with the Grimsky update, you now need at least 4 pallets on a hatch in order to destroy it, while before just 1 was enough. And this really buffed this trick, because if an enemy carelessly shoots in the middle of the hatch, and why wouldn't they, chances are that you can destroy at least 2 pallets. As for this spot right here, this is also probably better in secure area, but there are also ways that you can use this trick in bomb when you're heavily focusing on controlling reading. Now we get to another great spot, but also one that has been used in Pro League for ages, and seeing this is what inspired me to find more spots like these. Impact tricking is especially strong here or on spots like Chalet Garage, because the attackers need to open at least 2 or 3 hatches, because that's really the only way for them to take control of the area below the hatches. In the next part of the video, I'll focus on a different kind of impact trick, one which you might have already seen in Pro League. The thing is, impacts can not only be used to deny hatches, but if the conditions are right, you can also apply the same concept to normal reinforced walls. What I mean by that is that whenever you can destroy a small part right above the reinforced wall, like this, and by throwing an impact, the blast radius can potentially destroy Thermite and Hibana charges. For some reason, Ubisoft seems to really like this gap in reinforced wall recently, because the only maps where you can do this kind of impact tricking are Clubhouse, mostly in the reworked part of the map, and on the entirety of Villa basically. I don't know if there also was like this on the new Hereford, because to be honest I didn't get to play that much ranked lately, mainly because of my job as a Pro League coach. Like I said before, Villa is probably the best map for this kind of impact trick, because you can basically use it on every single wall. In this video I only show 2, but you can also do it on the vault wall and on the wall between laundry and dining, and these 4 are probably the most effective on Villa. Of course, this kind of impact tricking is kinda countered by Maverick, but even then the attackers still want to breach the wall with Hibana or Thermite, and depending on the situation, you might be able to destroy their charges even if Maverick has already opened part of the wall. In this clip you can see just how big the blast radius is. If you throw the impact just like I did, it will always destroy Thermite charges, even if they are placed at crouch level, and it will also destroy Hibana charges until just above the ground. So that's it for the serious spots. I hope you liked them, and if you choose to use them in ranked, tell me how it went. But before you go, I have one more spot, which is kinda in the meme territory, but it just goes to show how much is possible if you are creative with your impacts. I also purposefully left out some good impact spots, because we might want to use them in Pro League later on. So I encourage you to go out and find some more, because there's certainly potential. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, and see you next time.